All right, quotation marks for writing dialogue. So, quotation marks. When characters speak in your writing, we call that dialogue. Writers use quotation marks on either side of the exact words that are said by the characters. So, you have different parts of speech. The first part you want to look for is where the speaker tag is. Sometimes it's called the dialogue tag, and then you want to see where that's at. So here it's at the beginning where it says Felix said, and then you want to see what the actual, like what is Felix actually saying. So the actual words coming from the speaker, which is Felix, that person is saying, "What are we doing today?" So there's very specific rules for where commas go, what gets capitalized, how you punctuate things. And so that's what we're going to practice doing today. So if you go to slide 3, notice you can have those speaker tags or dialogue tags at the beginning, the end, or the middle of a sentence. So if your dialogue tag is at the beginning, it would look something like this. Grandma said, comma, we're going to capitalize that first letter, read with your little brother, and then because we're at the end, we're going to put a period, and then the quotation marks go on the outside. So notice Grandma is saying, read with your little brother. So we do a pause after the tag, and then whatever is being said, that gets capitalized, and we're going to put that punctuation and then close the quotes. Same thing here. Notice Kim asked is at the beginning, but this time because we're asking a question, instead of putting a period, we're going to end it in a question mark. And then here, Joe cried. Um, it's time to go to the birthday party. So this one has the exclamation mark instead of the period, but notice it's still on the inside of those quotation marks. You can also have the tag at the end of a sentence. So, for example, Gary is a funny dog, said Joel. Now, this one, because it's at the end, we're going to save that period for the very end after Joel. The part that Joel said is Gary is a funny dog. So the rule is if you would normally put a period there, we're going to save the period for the end and just leave it a comma. So notice it's a comma and then we close the quotes. But if you have a question mark or an exclamation mark, you can put that and you still put a period at the end. So, like this one, do I have to clean my room? He's asking a question. So, we're going to put the question mark there, go ahead and close the quotes around what he said, and then the tag, and then the period. If you have it in the middle of a sentence, this is like where you're starting it, you say who is talking, and then that person continues to say something else. So Fluffy, said Joy, is a special hamster. Joy is the one that said that. She said Fluffy, and she also said the part where it says is a special hamster. So you're going to put a comma after the first part because that is just a like you're just pausing and that sentence is going to pick up again. Then you're going to put is a special hamster. Now notice the beginning part is capitalized, but when you keep going, that part is lowercase. Yesterday, my mom said, so yesterday gets capitalized because it's the beginning of our sentence. The second part is the continuation where it says your teacher called me. That's just continuing. So we're not going to capitalize that and we're going to put that period at the end and then the quotation marks. I think, comma, pondered David, basketball is the best. So notice after each of these, we've got commas. So Fluffy, comma, said Joy, comma, yesterday, comma, my mom said, comma. So there's when you have it in the middle, you put a comma at the beginning, you put a comma after the tag, and then you're going to put the punctuation at the very, very end and then close those quotes. So use this as a guide. You really just need to find where that speaker tag or that dialogue tag is and then use this as an example of how you will like, or how it should be, how the punctuation should go. All right, so here's some more rules. I'll let you read over that, or I'll go ahead and read it. It says capitalize the first letter of dialogue if it begins a sentence. So making sure that first letter is capitalized. You're wanting to use commas to separate dialogue tag, that separate the dialogue from the speaker, except when you're using an exclamation or a question mark. So here, because this would get a period, it's due tomorrow morning before recess. Because normally we would put a period there, we're going to save the period for the end right here, and we're going to just leave it a comma. But because this one is using like you're very excited, like thank you so much, we're going to put an exclamation mark and then the period. Carlos thought aloud, comma, I love math. So because the tag is at the beginning, punctuation goes at the end. Commas and periods go inside. Make sure you put that inside, and then the quotation marks go on the out. And then every time you have a new speaker, you want to start a new indented paragraph. So here Alex is talking, and then Wendy, so they put them on different lines there. All right, so the rest of it's going to be practice on where these things go. So here you're just dragging and dropping. So you can click on these, and I would use the arrow keys, but you want to be looking for who is talking and what is being said. And notice those quotation marks need to go around what someone's saying, but making sure that the period, the comma, the question mark, the exclamation mark, all of those are in the right spot. So that's the same on 5 and 6 and 7. Then on 8, you're going to drag and drop where the speaker tag is. So finding where it is, like who's the one that's talking. And then when you do that, so like for example, bring me my blanket, please, requested Jamal. Requested Jamal is going to be your tag. So I'm going to put the circle over requested Jamal, and I'm going to make it a little bit bigger like that. But I want you to go back and I want you to look at how it's like where the punctuation is. So notice the tag is at the end with the period. So we're going to put a comma, bring me my blanket, please, requested Jamal. So make sure you're looking, look at how everything is set up, because that's going to help you to be able to recognize like when it's your turn to write it. You've seen it done correctly. Here's the same sentence 3 times. You're going to put the circle around the one that is written correctly. Same, each one of these is written 3 times. Which one is done correctly? Then here you're going to be typing. So here's the sentence, but we have someone speaking. So Marty said, brag Jenna, ordered dad. So how can you type those correctly? Same thing here. You're going to retype the sentences. And then here, we want to get away from constantly saying in our writing, said this person, said this person, said. It gets very repetitive, and we want to give more information. Like, are they joking? Are they begging? Are they bragging, yelling, crying, replying, laughing, giggling? So when you're doing it, um, instead of just saying said, you can use some of these other words to help you identify like how your speaker is responding or how they're talking. So here you're going to look at the little emoji. So this one's super happy. So I'm going to come back to my list. So maybe bragged or ordered or grinned or giggled or laughed, something positive. He's smiling or she. So I'm going to put here, I'm going to type something that emoji might say using correct punctuation, and then when I go ahead and write my dialogue tag, I am not going to put said Bob. I'm going to put something else. I can use any of these here. Then here you're going to look at the clip art. You're going to give each character a name. So you're going to name this person, and then you're going to type what you think they might be saying. So this person won a trophy, got first place, what is something that they might be saying, and you're going to use their name because they're the ones saying it, and you're going to type that correctly. Same thing here. So for example, like she's whispering. So I might, instead of saying said Sally, I might say whispered Sally. Same thing here, same thing here. Here you're going to type again how the character said it. I don't want to see any saids. So instead of saying said Jackie, Sarah said, Cody said, Lane said. That's very, very repetitive. Let's find some new things to put. And then same thing here, type how the character said it. So use this chart here to help you see if you can get some different ones. And it needs to match though. So for example, this person is saying, Vera is my best friend. I'm not going to go to my list and say whined or argued Jim. Like it needs to fit with what they're actually saying. So how do you think, or what do you think might fit when they're saying what they're saying? Alrighty, hope that helps. You can go ahead, now that you watched this, you can go ahead and get started with your assignment. You'll find this in Google Classroom.